So the first set of pieces are a set of 10 short pieces, and they're entitled Postcards. So just like a postcard, they're nice and short, about 1 to 3 minutes long. And each one is about a specific word that has to do with travel. So the first postcard is a Latin word that describes the feeling that pushes someone to travel. This adjective describes a desire to change and alter one's life, behavior, or situation. And in the piece itself, you see this opening passage that really drives you and pushes you into the piece, propels you forward with these really fast harmonic changes.
So I was going to say that this is a computer program you're listening to, and it really sounds horrible. So if you can, imagine me, a Steinway with a beautiful sound, a Stradivarius, and, actual musicians who have dynamics and expression.
So the second postcard is Sodalg. It's a Portuguese, Brazilian word that describes the nostalgia and love that remain after the journey ends. And it's a desire to return to a favorite place or a person that you met along the way. It's a yearning to be near to something or someone distant, and the feeling that remains after the trip ends. And impetus for the traveler to return to a favorite place, even with the knowledge that it may not be the same upon revisiting. So the third postcard, Resfaber, is a Swedish word which describes the restless race of the traveler's heart before the journey begins, when anxiety and anticipation and thrill are all tangled up together.
Here's me when I was around 6 years old. I flew to Sweden that summer with my dad to see my aunts and uncles, and my farmor and farfar, my grandparents and cousins. Well, I was so excited the night before that I couldn't sleep at all because I kept trying to imagine what it was going to be like to fly in the plane. So I tried to capture that ecstatic joy of Christmas morning. Just the sparkle and the wonder.
Yoko Meshi is the fourth postcard, and it's this wonderful Japanese word that describes that truly unique kind of stress that you experience when speaking in a foreign language, or that you can experience. Meshi literally means boiled rice, and yoko means horizontal. So putting them together, it means a meal eaten sideways. But if you listen closely, you'll hear snippets of Frere Jacques.
But you'll hear it in a very distorted way, just like when you're in another country trying to figure out what they're saying. Like, are they doing Frere Jacques? And then meanwhile, these guys, the violin and cello, are going to hold this long note and try to hide their bow changes, so it just seems like one continuous.
The fifth postcard is a German word,
Fernweh,
and it literally translates to far sickness or distance sickness versus another word which means homesickness. It describes a feeling that's even stronger than wanderlust. While someone with wanderlust might sit at home happily, dreaming about all the places they could visit, someone with this would feel a deeper sense of longing and a sort of homesickness, but for distant lands. It opens with this very forlorn sounding cello part. The sixth postcard
Trouvaille.
is a French word that describes a chance encounter with something wonderful. Whether it's stumbling across a hidden back street, a quaint cafe, or connecting with a local, this French word describes those magical moments we experience in our journeys. There's a sleuth-like, suspenseful type character to the piece because we're going to be exploring.
Like that character in Garrison Keillor that they always did.
Any guesses as to how to pronounce this seventh postcard? This Swedish word? Anyone?
Okay, even though my dad was Swedish, this totally calls for a Google opportunity. Here's what I found on the internet.
Livsnjutare. Livsnjutare. Livsnjutare.
Yeah, what he just said. Anyway, this fancy word means someone who loves life fully and lives it to the extreme. Literally, it means enjoyer of life. So I tried to capture that with this really rhythmic, kind of upbeat ostinato pattern in the piano part.
And then a little outburst of joy in the violin and cello. Real rhythmic. Little slides, chords, and mentos that they can do. Doesn't sound like that. Also, there's a displacement of the beat. So, like if it's in 4/4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, then you'll feel 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 on top of that sometimes. So, like the left hand 1 2 3 4 1 2, and the right hand 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. So together, really kind of gives it this jolly, energetic vibrance.
So, have you ever danced the tango? Well, this eighth postcard, Solificant, kind of reminds me of a tango. Because it doesn't always take two to tango. Because sometimes the kind of travels, the real journeys, where you return home altered on some cellular level, are best done by yourself. So this Latin word, from the Latin word solificant means lonely or solitary, and it describes anyone who enjoys meandering around new countries and new places alone in order to take it all in. So more than your daily grind, more than your bricks and mortar home, it's the people in your life who fix your sense of identity. And being away from them for a while is strangely freeing, no matter how much you love them. So it doesn't always necessarily take two to tango.
So there's kind of two moods to this piece. The first one would be when you travel alone, sometimes you do feel lonely or reflective. At the beginning. And then the second feeling, it gets a little faster at the end. It's pretty vibrant. Sometimes when you travel, it's a very vibrant experience. You see more, you smell more, you taste more, you feel more alive. So there's this change, like an awakening in the middle of the piece, and the tempo picks up.
Have you ever traveled somewhere and seen something that was so fascinating that you were awed to the point where your jaw dropped? This Latin word, numinous, describes an experience that makes you fearful yet fascinated, awed yet attracted. It's the powerful personal feeling of being overwhelmed and inspired. Like if you have a numinous experience at Yosemite National Park, gazing up at El Capitan or at a towering black bear.
Years ago, when we were in Lauterbrunnen, Switzerland, we were in this chalet that had a balcony and sitting on the porch watching a full moon move from one mountain across in front of us to behind the second mountain to the right. It was just amazing. And that image particularly came to mind for this piece. And I tried to capture the expansiveness and magic by having one hand really high and one really low. And then the open chords. Instead of having closed chords, they're opened up, so it's real expansive. The cello part, and then the piano joining.
So the 10th postcard, Quack Reversal, is this really cool Latin word that describes things moving or happening in every direction instantaneously. So we've taken the motives and the melodies from all the previous postcards and woven them together to kind of create this chaotic feeling, which, let's face it, we all have experienced when traveling. But it's like that feeling when you think your passport's in your sock drawer, but it's not, and your flight leaves in 3 hours.